Hi, I'm Ken Leising, CCS President, and I want to take a few minutes to introduce you to some of the changes to the upcoming CO3 conference. On the right-hand side, you'll see the four major changes that we'll be talking about today. There are some similarities, and the conference is again virtual, but you'll see the primary change is that the conference format has changed and that we've added back the poster session and a new way to interact, which is called Gather Town. So let's take a look at the basic format, which also has not changed from recent years. Well, as long as I can remember, we have Wednesday through Saturday programming. And this year, same as last year, we will have some live as well as some pre-recorded events. Let's take a closer look at Wednesday. And for Wednesday, as well as the other days, there will be a Zoom link provided on the website. So you'll sign into the conference Comparative Cognition Society website, and the Zoom links will be available. Click those, sign on to Zoom, and that will give you access to the day's events. Every day the conference itself, programming will begin at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. However, there are on Friday and Saturday pre-conference events that begin at 10 a.m. So if you're interested in those, be sure to check those out and arrive early, 10 o'clock, to be able to make those. Probably the biggest change will be that we are live streaming the talks this year. So that means, just like in the schedule, the canine cognition session will start at noon, and those talks will continue throughout the day according to their schedule, whether they're a 5 or a 10-minute talk, as well as a Q&A period that will follow. Let's go ahead and demo what that will look like. So you will sign into the Conference Comparative Cognition Society website, and available to you will be a Zoom link to sign on to Zoom, as well as in that Zoom stream will be a YouTube video playing. The administrators, session chairs like myself, will be screen sharing basically what is a YouTube live stream. So let's take a look. A couple of things. First off, you will see that when you sign in, if there's nothing going on, what you will see is this screen here, which is indicating the time that a particular session will start, and obviously the day. Hopefully you knew that coming in, but if not, there will be a friendly reminder there for you. At the specified time, so 12 p.m., this particular session will start. The talks will play. They are pre-recorded. They will play for their pre-recorded time, and they will be followed by a Q&A period. During that Q&A period, it is the speaker's responsibility to call on members of the audience to ask their question. So we do have session chairs, but they are just for technology. They are not for monitoring the sessions and asking questions of the audience. It is the speaker's responsibility. If no speaker is present, then the Q&A period video will continue to play, but no one will take questions, and we can either go on Gather Town, jump into a Zoom break room, or just hang out until the next talk starts. So let's go ahead and continue what the video will look like. So I won't speak from now on because this will sort of simulate what will happen. Obviously, everything is sped up. It will happen much faster in this video than it will in actuality, but you'll see a talk will start, a talk will end, a Q&A period will start. The Q&A period will then transition to a 30-second warning and then a 10-second warning in which music will slowly increase in volume until the next talk starts. And that music, just in NPR-esque fashion, is your stimulus that should signal that you need to cease asking questions, cease your discussion, and move it either to a breakout room or to Gather Town where you can continue that conversation. So that's the basic format this year. Our biggest feedback from last year was that people sort of missed that communal feeling of watching the same talk at the same time. It was your responsibility last year to watch the talks ahead of time and come prepared with questions. This year, we're bringing that feeling back. so that we can all watch the same talks at the same time. Of course, talks will be pre-recorded, and you can access those on the website prior to the start of the conference, but we also encourage you to show up at the time each talk is scheduled and participate as an audience member. As you saw, there will be Q&A periods, just like in person, 2 minutes for a 5-minute talk, 4 minutes for a 10-minute talk. And again, the speaker takes questions. If the speaker is unavailable, then there will be no questions during that period. Unless another member, another co-author is available, then they are also welcome to take questions. There are breaks. They're not in the conference schedule here, but they will be in the conference program. So you'll have small breaks throughout the day in order to do other things and get caught up on email and other things you might do. We're bringing the poster session back. Doesn't this look lovely? It looks familiar. I noticed the carpet changed. I didn't notice that when I was there, but I'm noticing it now. So we want to bring back the poster session. Obviously, it won't be like this. We won't have the same feeling, but we're trying to approximate it this year through the use of a website called GatherTown and through Marissa's efforts in creating a poster session and a manatee room and some other familiar sites that you'll see in GatherTown. So the poster session is back. It is Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and it will be an hour and a half. Again, the talks as well as the posters are all pre-recorded. We encourage you to view those. For the poster session, this is not a typical poster session in that, giving your spiel every time over and over again is obviously great practice for the students, but it does take up a decent amount of time. For this poster session, we want you to have viewed the posters ahead of time, viewed the speaker giving their spiel, and show up with questions or just to be social, right? You saw quite a few individuals hanging out in the middle there, just talking about science and research and the joys probably of being graduate students and faculty. So the posters will be available in GatherTown throughout the conference. So you can join GatherTown anytime, and you can walk around and look at the posters. There, the presentations aren't accompanying the posters. It will just be the poster. You can walk around the hall, you can mingle with other people, and you can read posters there as well as watching them, the pre-recorded poster presentations. So let's take a look at GatherTown, since I've already mentioned it a couple of times. So you'll get the link to GatherTown through the Conference of Comparative Cognition Society website. And when you put the link into your computer, you come to this default screen. Now there are some customizations you can do. I've never actually done that, but you can also just jump to join the gathering. Now, one thing you'll notice is it says that your camera is off. In order to turn your camera on, you need to turn your Zoom video off, and then you can turn your camera on, or you can leave it off. It's up to you. And I'll mention that again here in a minute. It will load, and then you will be transported to Melbourne, Florida. So here we are inside GatherTown, inside the model that Marissa has built, and you'll notice some familiar sights. Outside, you'll see the fountain. Come into the lobby, and there's the registration booth. Nope, skip that. You can keep on going. You'll notice the arrows directing you toward the poster hall. There are some other familiar sites, such as the business room. There is a bar. Outside, you can actually continue this way if you'd like, and you'll find the manatee room, as well as a pool bar and a pool area. And if you're feeling like a dip in the ocean, you can keep going onto the beach and into the ocean. However, it's not advanced enough. You will not, unfortunately, feel the water. So here we are in the poster hall, and you'll notice a number of posters are set up. If you go to a particular poster and you press X, you will view the posters, and when we have posters submitted, all the posters will be lined up, and like I said, those will be available all day. You can back away from the poster and go around the room, and you'll see some, well, in this case, one familiar face, Gnome, and if I walk up to Gnome, I can see his video. Now, in order for Gnome to see my video, I will have to shut my video off unless you are using a Mac, in which case I've been told you can see video on both simultaneously. But I'm going to go ahead and shut my Zoom video off so that Gnome can see my video. And now, due to our proximity, Noam and I can see each other. I should also be able to maximize this. I should be able to maximize Noam. That's a pretty cool little model Marissa built, huh? So I backed away from Noam. So now I'm on my own. Noam is at a poster. So I'm going to go up to the same poster. Yep. So we're both viewing the temporary poster, and we can have a conversation with the speaker, which is the idea that the speakers will all be at their posters during the poster session. And this would be a time to ask questions, but you can also just go to a poster and listen to someone else asking a question. All right. Thanks, Noam. I really appreciate you joining me, and I look forward to seeing you at the conference. So that's GatherTown. Pretty cool. Thanks to Marissa for putting all of that together. Lots of familiar sites, lots of opportunities to socialize, to ask questions of presenters, and to learn more about conference material and presentations. So as I said, the poster session is technically a Q&A for the presenters, right? It's an opportunity to ask them questions. We prefer that you take time to view the presentations beforehand in order to get the presenter's spiel, and just use that opportunity to ask questions. Already demoed GatherTown. I will say that it is bandwidth intensive. So if you have slow internet, Zoom and GatherTown will not run together. And if you have very slow internet, GatherTown won't load at all. You'll still be able to participate via Zoom, but you wouldn't be able to sign on to GatherTown. So my recommendation is to sign on from a university if that's possible. With past conferences, for the most part, I've tried to juggle both being at the conference and being at work, having meetings with students and doing what I need to do. This conference, because it's live stream, because we have those pre-recorded talks happening throughout the day, opportunities to interact with each other, with presenters. I don't know about you, but my plan is to, I already have blocked off those days and those times as much as possible. And I recommend you do the same. That way you can be at your university, but not engaged in your other activities, using your university's bandwidth and participating both via Zoom and GatherTown. I want to take the opportunity to highlight some of the live events. Obviously, there's the opening remarks, and that will be followed by our second annual Early Career Award winner, Marissa, who, like I said, also did the GatherTown. We have our CCS Research Award winner, Sally Boyson. There is a symposium in her honor, as well as her master lecture, and a celebration that will follow that. We have our CCS Mentoring Event, put together by our member-at-large, Kate Bruce, and that will feature so many fantastic editors. We couldn't even fit them all in there. We have so many members of CCS that are also editors at wonderful journals. We had to select only a few of those, but you'll have the opportunity to interact with those editors, ask questions about the review process, the submission process, and any other questions you might have. We also have an undergraduate engagement event put together by our Committee on Undergraduate Engagement to encourage undergraduate students to attend, to get to know other people, get to know more about the society, ask questions of professors and graduate students. Following that, we will have the business meeting, which will also be live. So all of these are live events. You can access them using Zoom links, which will be found on the website. Lastly, the poster session, and here you'll see voting closes 15 minutes before session ends. What does that mean? Well, this year we have 2 awards that will be given, or at least awarded by you, by the members. You will attend talks, you will attend posters, and then you will vote for your favorite, and that will be announced at the closing remarks. So you might be tired, you might be all scienced out, and sometimes I am at CO3. But you do not want to miss the closing remarks this year. We will have our award winners. It will be a very exciting closing remarks. So please join us for that at 5:30, where we will announce those winners, among other things like introducing our president-elect, Lauren Gillette, as our president. Some more important information that I should cover. One, the poster talk deadline is today, is March 23rd, so it may have passed by the time you view this. Keep that in mind. If you weren't able to get your talk in for some reason, please contact us and let us know, and we'll try to work with you. During the daily sessions, right, during the sessions like, Canine Cognition, the time of the presentation, the length And the start of the next talk is all determined by our Zoom and our YouTube video, right? It is all predetermined. So we cannot stop it. We cannot lengthen it. If you want to continue to ask a question, it will run from start to finish as planned. So use that music as a signal. We need to end that conversation. We need to take it somewhere else and let the talks continue. They will continue. Social hours, we already have one that has been emailed to us. Those will be in the conference program and emailed to you. So look for those. If you're interested in hosting one, feel free to shoot us an email. Other than that, I hope this gave you a better idea of how the conference is going to unfold, and I hope you have a wonderful time, and I look forward to seeing you there.